There seems to be an awful lot of sad stories in the news today, and there are thousands missing. Does anybody care? We built a channel where we talk about those faces. Talking news with Debbie. Cassie Barons has still not been found, and it's been 2 years since her case first hit the spotlight. Breaking. Child Gable and Little Vallow both behind bars. Sarah Galloway was found. She wasn't found alive. What happened to Sarah Galloway?
It's too heartbreaking to share.
Children are still missing. Children like Dorsey. Nor is she. He just got away with it. Welcome to Talking News. Hello everyone. My name is Debbie. We use big stories to push little faces.
Hello everyone, welcome to Chasing a Murderer. And today we're going to go ahead and pick up Life Beyond the Grave, year 2012. Before we get started, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. And if you haven't watched part 1 of this series, I suggest that you go back and start on part 1 and work your way up. We know that Lori Vallow is dealing with a lot of custody issues with her ex-husband, Joseph Ryan. This is attached to her daughter, Tylee. And court records show that Lori is still trying to what seems like manipulate the situation to make it difficult for Joe, just to make his life difficult. Joseph Ryan is in contact with Lori's attorney because she refuses to have personal contact. In my opinion, I believe is a way to punish him. So Lori's attorney writes in an email, I forwarded your email to Lori. She informed me that she does not want to exchange Tylee at the police station because it would scare Tylee. The only reason it was suggested in the past was because you refused to provide Lori with your address. Furthermore, Lori did not want to have an altercation with you if you continued to refuse to provide your address, but it still wanted to take Tylee. As you are already aware, Tylee is almost 10 years old. I would hope that 2 adults could exchange your child without occurrence of any incidents. The exchange should continue to occur at the Barnes & Noble parking lot, and Tylee can get out of one car and get into the other one. There is no need for you or Lori or anyone else who might be with Tylee to have contact or communication with one another. I was also advised to inform you that you are not welcome to attend the Broadway Kids performance as a result of your antics last year. The performance is not a school event and is occurring during Lori's time. You will not be welcomed by Broadway Kids officials. If you would like to obtain a copy of Tylee's performance, you can do so at... Anyways, they post a link for Joe to get copies of his own daughter's performances that Lori will not allow him to attend. I find this a bit confusing how she can legally actually do that. And in my opinion, it's just another way of causing a bunch of drama because she says in this little message that the people at the Broadway Kids are informed about the trouble that her and Joe Ryan are dealing with, and they are prepared to refuse him entrance. And where once it was okay to meet at the police station to exchange Tylee on her, I guess, permission, is now not okay that Joe wants to protect himself. Because not long ago, Lori Vallow had her brother and many other family members and possibly even friends stalking Joe when he got his time to pick up Tylee. Joe ended up spending most of his time dealing with police and telling them about his concerns. So these are concerns that started way back when, where we learned through current stories that say that Lori was actually a good mother and that there was no drama in her past until she met Chet Daybell, which is, you can see, completely untrue. So let's think about what Tylee Ryan must be going through at the age of 10 years old. Her mother is constantly having some kind of drama about them. meaning Tylee, her father, and herself. And she's sharing it with people through her school, at Broadway Kids, and everything is always some kind of mess. And through past podcasts, we have learned that Tylee Ryan is sick a lot of anxiety. And to be honest with you, it seems that the guardian ad litem, all those people are starting to catch on to Lori's little game. And whenever someone catches on to her game, people are going to switch out. Moving into July 25th of 2013, we're going to talk a little bit about Chad Daybell's books. Sorry, guys. One of them being Martial Law, Times of Turmoil. This book takes place after natural disasters and economic difficulties have pretty much left the United States on the edge of collapse. The nation's major cities are becoming lawless, becoming battlegrounds. Sounds familiar. It's something that we've had throughout history here in the United States. And in this book, saints must outwit their enemies, and they have to in order to reunite with their families. And at some point, the U.S. president needs to make crucial decisions to allow peacemakers help restore order. But more devastation comes, such as a major earthquake. And when it strikes, the true intentions of the UN forces become more evident. Chad Daybell will spend a lot of his time online on his computer seeking out doomsdayers and trying to push his books and his future, his visions, and his ideas of what the LDS will face in the near future. At this point in the Daybell's life, many of their children are growing up, going off on missions. Some of the missions not working out too well for them. Just like for Emma Daybell, she ended up returning because she ended up getting sick. And she blogged about it on February 11th, 2014. Emma, following her father's footsteps, begins blogging her journey, and I'm going to have to be honest, I believe somewhat manipulating people. She becomes closer to Julie Rowe, and I have found online where she and Julie Rowe actually kind of give people a hard time and believe in what they believe or just to mess with them. This is what Emma wrote. I haven't been wanting to write about this, especially not online. I don't want to draw attention to myself or be too dramatic, but I've had an incredible learning experience and I want to tell you about it. I was called to serve a full-time missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for a period of 18 months. I left in March 2013 and wasn't expecting to see my home in Utah again until October of 2014. Sometimes the Lord has other plans for us, though. I left for the missionary field feeling very healthy. I do struggle with anxiety, depression, but for the first time in my life, that actually seemed to be under control. I felt strong, and I loved going out about every day preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. We were having success in our area. I had made many lifelong friends, and I went to bed every night feeling happy. Life was wonderful. This continues with why she ended up returning and how she had gotten sick. She'd actually got mono, and she is having a lot of trouble healing. Once she returns home, she ends up helping her father with her books and her good friend Julie Rowe. And you will see where Emma Daybell is on a lot of blogs like the LDS Freedom Forum, because right now there's a lot of talk about the blood moon coming up within a year and Julie Rowe's book. Remember, in Julie Rowe's book, she has predicted that there are end times approaching. In 2015, while September 27th through the 28th will bring the blood moon. This refers to the reddish copper color of the moon that comes with the eclipse. And many Christians believe that this is the signs of the end times. 4 consecutive total lunar eclipses, each separated by 6 lunar months, fulfills the biblical prophecy of an apocalypse. And this begins actually around April 15th of 2014 and goes on through October 8th of 2014, April 4th, 2015. Julie Rowe is not the only one that has books out predicting the apocalypse. There's a promotion of one man, John Hagee, which is a Christian minister, where he wrote a book, 2013, 4 Blood Moons, claiming that this is a signal being sent by God. Hundreds, even thousands of Mormons have their own website where they talk about this, and Chad Daybell being one of the supporters. Who else is keeping their eye on this? Well, you have people like Lori Vallow. So this will start to make sense later on when you hear how Lori's scared to death that the end of the world is coming, and how she talks about driving off the cliff with her kids. So books like this that actually talk about the 4 blood moon points to a very world-shaking event that will happen between April 2014 and October of 2015. They share quotes like, "And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the coming of the great and awesome day of the Lord," end quote. They refer to other references, such as in Revelations 6:12, which is part of the passage about the 7 seals, which reads, quote, "I looked when he opened the 6th seal, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black, black as a sackcloth of hair, and the moon became like blood," end quote. And in news articles by CNN, they actually address other religious groups, such as the Jewish, that use the lunar, Jewish holidays are based on lunar calendars that lead to significant events in Jewish history. Meanwhile, there are skeptics out there that say or predict that all these people who are predicting end times will fail in 2015 and the end will not come. But there are a few rabbis that agree that a red moon is a sign that a Messiah is soon to come. Mormons such as Chad Daybell and Julie Rowe have taken into their own hands great abilities to predict that the end is near. They're going over the heads of high church leaders. And we'll see pretty soon how that's going to start stirring a lot of controversy, a lot of problems, and you're going to see a lot of articles come out about that. The fact that Chad Daybell and Julie Rowe and a few others have got their own little thing going, their little following that believe that these are great messengers sent from God himself. And each day that passes by, they get more and more courage to predict earthquakes and new events to happen or to come in the near future. Fans of Chad Daybell, like Lori Vallow, will soon discover his books, and she will dive deep into these books and basically adopt his beliefs to be more accurate than the leaders of her church. And later we will learn that she'll learn that she no longer is just a fan, but she wants to work her way in as to being one of the top messengers of God. And I believe the reason why she does this, there's several reasons I believe this, and this speculation, is to take away the fear that she has for the end times approaching. Now, there are other people out there during this time that is not really in the spotlight or leadership roles. People like Melanie Gibb, David Warwick, Thor, Sosa, and each believe that they have a role to play in foretelling the future and to give warning about this apocalypse. Melanie Gibb, however, is not so much a visionary as she is one that likes to support those that carry the vision. I'll try to go into more detail on these guys, but it's kind of difficult. There's so much to the story, it's hard to cover everything. But just know that these people are getting to know each other. They're in contact daily through LDS websites, preparedness websites, and they're collecting people that even follow these smaller names, and those people are preparing for end times. I mean, it's getting to the point to where they're spending their savings. They're really hurting their economic future by supporting these beliefs. And many of these people, they don't realize it at the time, are going to lose everything believing in what these people are teaching. There's been a lot of people that have been hurt through this group of people. And let's not forget about Jason Mao. Jason Mao, he has, been through a lot already. And right now, he gets an opportunity to be part of a movie. And many people who follow this case actually were able to find this information and try to actually somehow include it as being part of the story. But I'm not certain whether it is or not. But here's the movie. The movie is called Speak No Evil. And in this movie, there are children who go missing and a man that says your kids are chosen by God to go first. This takes place in a very small town. So synopsis and plot summary is when all children in a small town become possessed. One mother refuses to believe that her daughter is lost to the devil and will do whatever it takes to keep her alive. Jason Mao plays a very small part as a cop in this movie, nothing too big. But the problem is is it a coincidence that Lori Vallow's children go missing and is blamed of being, their bodies being taken over by the devil himself? Or did Jason Mao have some type of role in having Lori believe this? Well, we've never heard where Jason Mao's been directly attached to that belief with her children. But we do know that Chad Daybell was, as was Melanie Gibb. The movie wasn't all that great, to be honest. It wasn't that big, but it was an indie. And most people that I know learned about this movie after this case broke. Still, in between all of this that's going on, so many lives, the cover, it's very difficult, guys. We have Joseph Ryan still going to court. He's trying to get more custody of Tylee Ryan, and that continues through 2013, 2014, 2015. So now we have Chad Daybell's kids, who are now adults, are being taught that righteousness, it's basically that the world is crazy. Don't believe anything they have to say, because what we know is true. We are not the crazy ones like people portray us as. It's the public, the outsiders. They are the ones who are crazy. And they are learning some of the strangest teachings that are even outside of the LDS teachings. And they're coming from parents, their parents. And it's something to be expected from people who are non-believers, that they're picked on because they just don't understand the truth. And so I found this on Emma's Daybell's blog that pretty much sums up a lot of how she thinks. So in Alma 41:10, wickedness never was happiness. Righteousness never was craziness. And so Chad's children they're taught to walk with their heads up high. Don't fear what people don't understand. They are right and everyone else is wrong. So around March of 2014, Emma's actually posting in I'm going to spell it for you, SICKRMS.com, which is run by one of her friends. She names as Ryan. Something I want you guys to be familiar with and understand is that Chad Daybell and Julie Rowe, people like them, mentioned, they wanted to be part of the church. They wanted to move higher in ranks, but they're not able to do so. And their reasoning for this is they say, well, they mentioned that the politics within the church and being part of the leadership of the church, it's gotten pretty insane. And that's according to their testimony. And then based on my opinion only, guys, and you guys can, research this and look it for yourself, it seems to me that these two seem incredibly aggravated that they're not the chosen ones to become some of the main higher ranked leaders of the LDS church. And Chad, if you read his books multiple times, he mentions how his family, their entitlement within the church and how they could only go so far. And it's at that point that I feel, in my opinion, that these guys started lying that the leaders were very supportive of them. They would actually speak with leaders and still manipulate, but behind their backs they were teaching things that they knew that the leaders were not okay with. All right, guys, I kind of threw this together. I'm still not feeling my best, but I'm trying to get some of this stuff caught up because I'm so behind. At least give those of you that's been waiting on parts of this series to continue, give you something. I do miss being here with you guys. I care lots about you guys. I love you to death. Don't forget, guys, we still have faces out there still missing. If you can, take one of those videos like Summer Wells or Jasmine Robinson, Kira Coles, share a video somewhere on one of your true crime groups. Let's try to keep their stories alive. All right, guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.